Hey guys, welcome back to Extracurricular Activities. I'm Savannah.
And I'm Kass, and we're all feeling a little bit tired after last week's break, so here's news of the week to get back into the swing of things.
Thanks guys. The gay cake case has finally wrapped up in the United Kingdom, with the country's highest court ruling that the Christian owners of a bakery were not obliged by law to bake a cake featuring the phrase, "support gay marriage." The legal dispute has been running since 2014, when a gay rights activist ordered the cake in Northern Ireland. Gareth Lee successfully sued the bakery for discrimination. However, on appeal, the Supreme Court found the bakery refused his request not because of Mr. Lee's sexual orientation, but because of the company's religious views. Hurricane Michael has finally made landfall in Florida, lashing the state with winds up to 250 kilometers an hour. Although having been upgraded to a Category 4 hurricane, this has been downgraded to a Category 3 as the system has made its way inland. So far, the storm has caused extensive damage and flooding, with authorities warning that the time to evacuate has now come to a close. 375,000 people along the coast were encouraged to leave, however many chose to stay. The Walton County Sheriff, Michael Atkinson, tweeted, "While it might be their constitutional right to be an idiot, it is not their right to endanger everyone else." We'll have to see how this one goes. And should plant-based foods be called meat? The federal government is currently lobbying for a change to food standards, the idea being that products labelled meat and milk should come from an animal, not a plant. While the government insists this is not a veiled attempt to reduce the number of plant-based replacement products, they insist that such labelling is needed to ensure consumer confidence. And on that note, back to you guys.
Well, that's got me thinking, Cass. Is almond milk actually milk?
I don't know, and the same with coconuts. Is coconut milk actually milk?
Who knows? But we have something a little bit more important this week with the union rally. You guys might not have had classes, but let's check out why.
Staff at the University of Wollongong went on strike this morning after months of negotiations on an enterprise agreement between UOW and the Wollongong branch of the National Tertiary Education Union failed to make much headway. The union is pushing for higher pay and job security, with it claiming over 75% of staff at UOW are employed on a casual basis.
The Vice-Chancellor should just sit down with us. Let's fix this thing up.
I think the central issue for people is the way that the university is run. You know, education is not a business, or it shouldn't be treated as a business. Teachers are vital for, the lifeblood of the university, and if we're treated badly, it impacts on our ability to teach.
Over 200 people, including students and union members, came out in the cold despite what the union calls foul play by the uni, claiming staff received emails trying to prevent them from going on strike.
Management put out somewhat misleading information about what staff had to do if they wanted to join the strike.
We will go to the Fair Work Commission in order to get a determination on this matter and make sure that our Vice-Chancellor absolutely retracts the misinformation, apologises to staff.
Unless an agreement is reached, a full-day strike can be expected on October 23rd. UOW Media contacted the university, which declined to comment. River McCrossan, UOW TV Multimedia.
Have you ever had a terrible idea? Well, this might be the event for you.
We got to chat with Jane Strang from iAccelerate about the new event PitchX. Today we're joined by Jane Strang from iAccelerate, here to talk to us about PitchX. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, guys.
So I guess the question we're all wanting to ask is, what is PitchX?
So UOW PitchX is a new program that we've rolled out in spring session. It's SAF funded. It's a reverse pitching competition. So we're encouraging students to come along and pitch terrible or funny ideas.
Right, so why terrible ideas instead of good ideas?
So we used to run UOW Pitch, which was for really great ideas for the next service or goods, and we found it was really narrow market, and we thought that everybody could benefit from the program and pitching techniques training as well as exposure to iAccelerate.
So how did you get involved in pitching? What was the process for you?
So I've been employed at iAccelerate since July, and this program came up and I put my hand up to run it, and so yeah, I've been doing that ever since.
Yeah, so is there any prizes or anything for people with, say, the worst idea?
Yep. So there's a few cash prizes up for grabs for the students. Top prizes are the worst idea and the best pitch.
Cool. And so what was the process like for PitchX?
So the students have formed teams and they've gone through pitch techniques training through tactical trainers, and we've also done performance training, and we're doing lots of rehearsals this week in preparation for the final event, which is next week.
Great. So you do have your event next week, and what time was that?
Yep, so the PitchX final is Thursday, the 18th of October from 6 p.m. at iAccelerate. It's free and everybody's welcome to attend. You need to register via the event page, which is located on eventbrite.com.au. If you search UAW PitchX, it'll come up.
So what is the final event going to look like?
So we've got a really fun comedian who's going to MC the event. We've got a DJ, we've got drinks and food as well. And then our 5 teams will compete for the finals, and audiences are encouraged to vote as well.
Great. So do you hope that this will continue in the future?
Yeah, so this is the first time we've done PitchX, so it's kind of a little bit of trial and error, but we really hope that the students get around it and we can bring it out next year as well.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Jane.
Thanks for having me. Thanks.
Well, on to something that's a pretty good idea and something we should be talking about is mental health and the impacts of cyberbullying and what we're doing to solve it.
Today marks the 26th annual World Mental Health Day. The theme this year focuses on young people and mental health in a changing world. Researchers at UAW specialising in mental health hope to raise awareness about this issue in the community.
People who are living with mental illness are people. Yes, they have an illness, but if we're all made up of 100 pieces of a jigsaw, that's just one piece of them. Mental illness is not their identity.
Professor Lorna Moxham's research aims to remove the negative stigma that surrounds mental health. She also says that cyberbullying is the online version of a coward punch. However, some people have a different view.
I don't see how people find it such a problem, unless it's hugely directed. If it's constant, then yeah, but there's a lot of it that I think is just, if it's a comment on your Facebook, just delete the comment.
It's horrible and you see it all the time in high schools. I saw it all the time. Teachers can't do anything about it. It's mostly a high school thing, but it happens like any time.
Professor Moxham hopes that her research will prevent cyberbullying in the future by encouraging behavioural changes to happen now.
If people can be around people with mental illness, their attitudes change for the better.
She also says that people can celebrate positive mental health and resilience at McCabe Park this Friday. Kira Proust, UAW TV Multimedia.
Savannah, is it getting a little hot in here?
Oh, it is getting a little hot.
I wonder why. Maybe David can tell us if science doesn't suck.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Science Doesn't Suck. It's time to talk about climate change, and just so everyone is on the same page, we're going to do a brief crash course on what climate change actually is, using that powerful pedagogical tool, Microsoft Paint. Earth is surrounded by an atmosphere, which is composed of different gases. When solar energy from the sun, also known as light, hits the Earth, it is absorbed and re-radiated as heat, most of which is lost to space. Some of this infrared energy, however, is reflected back down again towards Earth by certain types of gases, known as greenhouse gases. This process is actually really useful. Without it, the Earth would be really hot during the day and freezing at night. The atmosphere thus acts as a thermoregulator, like insulation or a greenhouse, hence the name. Now things only start to go wrong when you fiddle with the system. Start increasing the concentration of greenhouse gases, for example, such as carbon dioxide and methane, and you increase the amount of heat trapped by the atmosphere. At a global scale, this causes the warming of the planet. So why are we talking about global warming now? Well, the IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, has just released a special report on the impacts of global warming of 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial levels and related global greenhouse gas emission pathways in the context of strengthening the global response to the threat of climate change, sustainable development, and efforts to eradicate poverty. In short, we're not doing enough, we're running out of time, and if things get warmer than 1.5 degrees, and it looks like it might, the shit's going to hit the fan. At the moment, if nothing changes, we could hit the 1.5 degree mark by as early as 2040 and 2 degrees by the 2060s. So why do we want to limit things to 1.5 degrees, not 2? Although it doesn't sound like a lot, the implications are substantial. At 1.5 degrees of warming, coral reefs are expected to already decline by another 70 to 90%. At 2 degrees, this increases to above 99%. In short, bye-bye Nemo. The increased ocean temperature, combined with increasing ocean acidity, is expected to hit hard on the diversity and abundance of fish. At 1.5 degrees, the Arctic would be ice-free once every 100 years. At 2 degrees, this would happen once a decade. 2 degrees of warming also means sea levels would increase a further 10 centimetres, impacting another 10 million people. Ironically, while people on the coast are being flooded, the number of people...
Well, climate change is getting a little steamy. You know what else is? Birthdays. Here we have Olivia's birthday special on 60 Second Snacks.
Hi, welcome to 60 Second Snacks. This week's my birthday week, so I'm making Mars bar slice. You'll need rice bubbles, Mars bars, butter, golden syrup, and a mix of milk and dark chocolate. First of all, you want to prepare a pan with baking paper to ensure that your Mars bar slice does not stick. Okay, so first things first, you're going to turn on a bain-marie for your chocolate to melt evenly and not burn. So you're going to put some water into a saucepan with a big bowl onto a high heat and let that sit for a sec. Then, in a big microwave safe bowl, you're going to add your Mars bars, butter, and your golden syrup. What a mess. Okay, so now we're going to microwave this. We'll microwave at 1 minute intervals so we don't burn it. Now while that's melting, we're going to put our chocolate into our bain-marie. So first minute's done. Got to mix it all together. I don't know if I'll need to put it in for another full minute. Everything seems to be melting together quite nicely. But it's still a little chunky, so we're going to put it in for another maybe 10 to 20 seconds. So this is all melted together, and now we're going to add our rice bubbles. Pour all our rice bubbles in and gently mix it so you're not squashing the bubbles, because it's all about the texture. So you want it all to be sticking together, but all the rice bubbles to be covered in the Mars bar mixture. So once you're done mixing that, we're going to pour it into our lined pan or dish. This may have been a bit large. And then we're going to flatten it down so it covers the whole bottom layer evenly. Yum, it looks so delicious. So while we wait for the chocolate to melt, we'll put this in the fridge to set a little. It's looking pretty good. Well, since this doesn't look like enough chocolate, we're just going to add the remainder of our chocolate. So we're adding the dark and the milk. The dark kind of makes it taste less sweet, which is kind of what you want sometimes. But if you're a hella sweet tooth, then you might want all milk. A key thing you want to do when you're making a bain-marie is make sure the bowl's bigger than the saucepan, because if you get water in there, you're kind of screwed and your chocolate will harden. You don't want that. So just taking it out of the fridge, and it's set a little bit, but now it's a good time to just press it down evenly. Okay, now, oh, that's hot. Gonna pour our chocolate all on top. Just smooth it all over. There's nothing better than a nice glossy chocolate layer on your Mars bar slice. Is there something in my teeth? Okay, so once you're done with this, you want to put it in the fridge until the chocolate's set. Once it's set, you want to cut it into smallish pieces, but we don't know how to do that in this family. And then we'll see what Vinny thinks.
That's good. Not too sweet. Nice and firm. Well done. Nice.
Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.
Well, that looked pretty special.
And you know what else is special? Getting some great advice from dear Riley.
Let's see what he had this week.
Got questions about finding love in the digital age? There's only one person to ask. Dear Riley.
I think you would probably be, the best way to deal with that would be to approach and talk to your partner through like open communication. Just to kind of be like, this is something I'm having an issue with. Whatever you're jealous about, I think it's best if you talk to your partner about it, because generally I think you'll find that that person will be understanding, or at least able to help you work through it. I think if you don't address the issue, it will just keep happening.
Well, thank you again, Riley, for that wonderful advice.
Well, we're sure that you've missed Earworm after the break, but here it is with all of your music info.
Hey guys, after a week of well-needed Yours and Ours recovery, we are back to bring you another stellar week in music around town, so listen up. Tonight is going to be a fun time for all at Rad Bar, with powerhouse Sydney pop rock duo Egoism bringing their goods to the gong. Touring nationally off the back of their newest single, Sorry, Olive and Scout are two girls that know their stuff. According to their Unearthed profile, the genesis of Egoism began through catching the same bus in high school. Their regular morning arguments about music became a drive to create something together. Now with years of steady gigging, the girls have mastered their sound, and with help from tour support Sketch Jets as well as local legends Space Boys and Scab Baby, this is a show that is sure to get you into weekend mode. And Friday takes us north to Beaches Hotel in Thirroul, which will play host to the talented Tupperware Party
as well as some other very cool acts. These smooth Sydney-siders are renowned for making silky surf tunes, and with zero entry fee, you'd be very wrong to not check this one out. Just to sweeten the deal, the outdoor type are also on the bill, trekking it all the way from Melbourne. These guys make darn nice music, and it's no surprise that it's seen them break through into the Australian music scene in the last year, sharing stages with none other than Vance Joy and Portugal the Man. Now working on their debut album, get in while you still can to see them for free. And if that wasn't enough to convince you, Gosh will also be playing. After taking the Unearthed spot on the big stage of Yours and Ours, these guys are killing it. And last but not least, Chloe Dad Music, also recently getting up at Yours and Ours, will be doing her thing at Beaches. Chloe knows her way around a guitar and mic, bringing some raw and rootsy Tash Sultana vibes. So get down to Beaches this Friday night for the gig. And Saturday night, our pick is the Francos at Rad Bar. The three jamming buddies, Ben, Alex and Xavier, fuse together their eclectic taste in music with their impressive instrumentation to combine for quite a remarkable sound. The Gong Boys lean on old school and rock influences of the Beatles and Arctic Monkeys, while blending in synth textures and highly syncopated drum beats that wouldn't stand out of place on a Tame Impala track. The boys have mastered their sound and are wasting no time in sharing it, with 3 singles already out this year. And alternative indie poppers Territories will be supporting their Gong neighbours, along with Fika and Analog Dreams, so get down to this one at Rad. And in case you missed it, Yours Now's free North Gong Sundays are back and we are darn excited. As daylight savings comes through to bring us more sun, so too does it bring the bands and potentially a Monday morning hangover. The sesh is back, and this week it is spearheaded by the fabulous boys, the Ocean Party. Recently in the Gong for a Strawberry Boogie, I can tell you firsthand that these guys put on quite the show. Whilst from Melbourne, the 5-piece are signed to the Illawarra label Spunk Records and have a soft spot for the Gong. With a new album each year seeming to be the trend for the indie rockers, the Ocean Party are still yet to release a bad song. Come down to North Gong this Sunday if you don't believe me. Also, each member sings. What more could you want? Wing Defence are also there to help, the 2 girls from Adelaide that are now your new favourite band. Featured on Unearthed earlier in the year, the girls have had a bunch of recent success and are touring nationally with the Vans, whilst also making some time for some of their one-off shows. Easy Street and Slinky Red will also be out in the beer garden at the North Gong Hotel, so be sure to get down at 4 to not miss a minute of the action. These are our picks of the week, but be sure to let us know what you're getting out to. That's all, and we'll catch you next week.
Well, that's almost all for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Now we have UOW Unplugged.
And I'm pretty stoked for this act. We've actually got Kieran Stokes on the show. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks, guys.